Hi guys, it's Christy in Calgary, and today is the third and final installment on the topic of immigration and trauma, and man, it has been fascinating. Today we're going to be delving into the idea of what resources you have available to you as a new immigrant, as well as what does the cycle of grief look like once you've immigrated, and then finally we ask the nail-biter of a question. When should you not immigrate? I know, we just delve straight into it. Let's go. I guess the next question I have is, you're a new immigrant. You come from a country where you've been in high stress for a long time. You are not on the healthcare system yet, but you're going through this really difficult scenario. Where do you get help? There was this very sad story about the South African family who moved to New Zealand, and I believe the mom had to go off her medication to meet the immigration requirements, and then she actually ended up killing her children after the move. And I mean, I'm sure immigration stress could have played into that. You've gone through a traumatic event now, and you can't even take your medication. I mean, this is not, I'm trying to say is like, immigration and trauma and mental health can have deadly consequences. Yeah, can you speak to that a little bit?
And I want to say, if you immigrate and before you come you were on meds, don't change your meds when you come over. That's the priority number one. And then the other one is, if you find out that you now need help, you've been through all this stuff and you realize I now need help. The good news is that in Canada, every city, every small town have a community services, where they have an immigration program, where they have counseling services, and that those people are qualified to help. And that they can, even if it means they go to immigration service and say, I need counseling, they can put you onto a wait list.
Yeah, Canada's a lot of wait lists.
Canada's got a lot of wait lists.
Yeah.
But at the end, you get in. And even if it's just 6 months in for good service to help you to stabilize, that service is there, and everyone. And if you don't have a community services, go and find a faith community, because they normally also pay for people to go for counseling.
Yeah, and I would add to that two things. I've done counseling, and I did counseling even through a church recommended counselor, and they were a professional counselor. It wasn't just someone from the faith community who was like, I have an opinion that I think is biblical and espousing it, but actually a professional in the mental health field is key. And then the other thing I would say is, if you do counseling and you don't find a counselor that you gel with, or if you feel like fits with your worldview, find another counselor. It's okay to find another counselor. I wish people knew that not all counselors are the best fit for you.
No, you've got to find your fit. 'n skoen pas nie vir elke ou se voet nie.
Yeah.
Find the good counselor that works with you.
Yeah. And also I think a big thing is, some people are like, checkbox, this is done, we've discussed it. But I think the thing with trauma and with grief is that it's not punt A tot punt B en ons is nou klaar. It's circular sometimes, and you have to revisit things and go and process and reprocess. It takes a long time.
Yeah. And there's, if you think in terms of trauma, I think in terms of grief and loss. Grief and loss is number one is, you angry because you're helpless, therefore you're angry.
Yeah.
Then you feel, man, I need to negotiate myself out of this. Then you go and say, wow, now I feel so sad. And then you go in a place and say, denial, this has never happened to me, it doesn't happen to me. You try to negotiate yourself out of it. And then you go to the place where you begin to finally think, yes, now I've arrived, I've accepted this. But this is all part of the cycle of disorganization. It's like a waterfall. You think you land and you are now there.
Move along on the river.
Move along, and the river takes you in another circle. Just when you think you can breathe, you go under again. And it repeats itself. And eventually that's a new normal.
Okay, we've talked through a lot today. And I think one thing we agree is that immigration is traumatic. It takes a lot more out of you and your family than you think it's going to. And you should reach out for mental health. You should not have pride about it. There's no shame if you don't have the financial resources to ask for help. I think that's something that Canadians are much more open to, like, hey, I need help. And that's a vulnerable thing. And I think South Africans aren't always great with vulnerability, in my opinion. Do you think that is true at all, that South Africans sometimes...
I think South Africans have not been allowed or given permission to be so vulnerable. They had to learn to just buckle up and just do it. And they got to learn to become vulnerable.
What are the last things that you would like to leave someone who immigration is imminent, it's a choice that they've made, or even like you have immigrated and now you're in the thick of it? What would you say to people to help them through this time?
The key thing is be kind to yourself.
Okay, be kind to yourself.
Be kind to yourself. Allow yourself to grow. Allow yourself to discover your own vulnerabilities and don't beat yourself up when you have them. Once you know them, go and ask for help.
Ask for help. Okay.
Ask for help. And I think asking for help makes you a hero. And that is because you've got to be very brave. And courageous to ask for help.
That is one of the key things about immigration. It's nie vir sissies nie. You've got to be strong and you've got to be brave and you've got to be vulnerable. And you've got to be honest about that vulnerability as well, I think.
And immigration allows you that. It affords you the opportunity to be all of that and more.
Okay. Any other last thoughts that you would leave anyone who's curious about trauma and immigration?
Hou die blink kant bo.
That's not true. I don't think you blink wees with immigrasie nie. I think it's actually flipping hard, and you just gotta, and that's what I want to do. Like, my hope is with some of these discussions that we have, that we go beyond the superficial and we actually can help people who immigrate.
So jy wil nie hoor elke donker wolkie het 'n silwer randjie.
Nee, mamma, ek wil nie. Kan ek jou mamma noem na jou doktersgraad het? Of is ek die dokter dos Santos dan?
Laat nie, beslis nie.
Okay. Oh, thank you, Mom, for coming and chatting and hanging out. The real reason is to visit with your granddaughter.
No, it's not.
It's okay. No, it's not. What I would say is, my mom, she is quite the lady, and she's always pursuing great things. If you do want to get in contact, if anyone wants to get in contact with you, what's the best way to learn about you and your practice, or just connect with you?
You can Google Anna dos Santos.
Okay.
In British Columbia, and you'll find me. Or you can go to my website, which is www.fraservalleyarttherapy.com.
Okay. You know, www, they don't say that anymore. It's just fraservalleyarttherapy.com. Yeah, we all know the World Wide Web now.
Okay.
You're so hurtful for my best.
Look down below.
Look down below. You're going to find the link. Okay, we're good. This is a question we forgot about, but we thought was really important. From a psychological perspective, or even from a marriage perspective, or any mental health point of view, when should you not pursue immigration?
That, I think, depends on individuals.
Okay.
But if you're not totally 100% certain that this is what you must do, I suggest wait a little bit. If you can.
Okay.
Make sure that you know without a shadow of a doubt that this is what you want to do. Because there will be times that you will, even if you knew 100% that you wanted to immigrate, you will still doubt. And if you have a little bit of doubt before you come, that's normal.
Okay, some doubt is normal.
Some doubt is normal. But there must be, you've got to have an agreement that this is the right thing.
And that's with your family. You have
your
an agreement.
Family must have an agreement. Your family, you and the family that immigrates, because your family never wants you to immigrate. Very seldom.
Your extended family.
Your extended family. Who wants to lose their family? No one. It's normal. If your family wish you to go away, that's when you shouldn't immigrate.
No. But are there red flags of like, are you immigrating for the wrong reasons? Because I think that's the thing. A big part of this channel is the question, is immigratie reg vir my? Because sometimes, and we've lived through it, it's not the right choice. We've seen it up front.
Yes. Immigrate
isn't
for
it?
the right reasons. And only you know what the right reasons are.
Mm-hmm.
Because I cannot say your reasons is good enough and this is what my reasons should be. But make sure that you immigrate for the wrong reasons, and that you don't try to escape relationships. Because if you can't solve a relationship back in South Africa, there will not be a chance that you can solve a relationship in Canada.
Mm-hmm. What would you say about expectations in immigration? And I saw it's a bit of a different topic, so maybe that's not the right place to say it, but I'm kind of curious, like, your expectations are never going to be met in Canada because immigration isn't what you think it's going to be. So
don't fantasize about immigration.
No,
that's what I say.
Okay.
Don't have a fantasy that that life is going to be all rosy. Be realistic that you're going to do all the hard things of life. You live life here as well.
Okay.
So what I would say at the end is make sure that your relationships have been clean and a nice closure to all relationships at the back when you leave the country, and then when you come here, start afresh and don't have preconceived ideas of what you think it will be.
Yeah.
Preconceived ideas can lead you to your bubble will burst very quickly.
Yeah.
If you have an idea that this is what it's going to be. Because you can never ever know exactly what it will be.
Everyone, thank you so much for joining me along with this journey on this topic that was so close to my heart. And thanks to my ma, dat sy my gehelp het met dit. It was so nice to have her over and to talk about this in a meaningful way. I really hope that these videos help you along your journey in immigration. Every Wednesday I upload new videos. If you subscribe below, you'll see a notification every time that happens, as well as if you're interested in my day-to-day life, which many of you are, my Instagram is Christy in Calgary, and it's really nice to connect with you there as well. Until next time. WW, they don't say that anymore. It's just FraserValley@arththerapy.com. Yeah, we all know the World Wide Web now.
Okay.
You're so hurtful for my best.
Look down below.
Look down below. You're going to find the link.